So, chapter 2, verse 1, starts with recent history. Again, we'll flip over to Acts 17. We'll look at that in depth. Paul was previously imprisoned at Philippi. Bitter strife, bitter opposition there. He's thrown in prison. Also, his brief stay at Thessalonica, as we'll read, filled with much conflict. That's what he talks about in verse 2. The rejection of reprobate Jews, their rabble-rousing to poison the leadership of Paul at Thessalonica against him. I don't know if these enemies of the gospel, I don't know if they covered their faces. I don't know if they wore all black, but very similar tactics to rabble-rousers today that we see on the news. They physically attacked the church. They drugged Jason, a prominent Christian, other brothers, before the leadership. They wanted to generate so much rioting, so much chaos that the leaders would be forced to deal with Paul one way or the other. And I think you know which way they would prefer. So what awful crime, what horrible injustice instigated all this opposition? Paul's preaching of the gospel. He uses several synonyms in our text today. You heard them for his spoken ministry. Exhortation, speech, gospel, comforting, charging, word. The core concept of Paul's office. He's an apostle. Literally, it means a sent one. Jesus Christ obviously does the sending, and the one who is sent goes with all of his dignity, all of his command, all his authority. Most importantly, he goes with the message of Jesus Christ to be his personal representative. That's the authority that Paul briefly mentions in verse 6. Look there. Neither did we seek glory from men, either from you or from others, when we might have made demands as apostles of Christ. Interestingly, this is the only time in 1st and 2nd Thessalonians that Paul mentions his authority. That's because this small church had no questions who he was, who he represented, and the authority of his words. Unlike Corinth, again, where he's writing from, where Paul constantly has to remind them, I'm an apostle, I'm sent from Christ, over and over again. So that's an incredible contrast. We'll see more of that soon. So I think it's my contention that Paul is using his ministry as a measuring rod by which the Thessalonians can evaluate other evangelists, other teachers that will come to help them, since Paul had to leave so quickly.